Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Here we go. Episode 54. He's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan, and we are a day late as of recording for this, but I guess you can blame everything on Rodney. I saw the social media post. Very clever.
Good idea.
Very busy today on the show. So it kind of worked out that we are recording on Thursday because some big news came down for the city of Houston. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Foo Fighters tickets are going on sale tomorrow to the general public for the 2 anniversary shows. Had a listener write to me this morning, and he got in on a pre-sale. He's going to Wembley. So we're going to have some. So we're going to have somebody with some boots on the ground. Father's Day is on Sunday. I figured maybe we could sprinkle in a little Stranger Things, seeing if you're in on that. Okay. And then we've got I'll tell you why, we've got a John Travolta top 5 list coming up. And there's a reason. But John Travolta, man, when you start digging into some of these movies, like he's one of the all-time greats, right? He's been around. I mean, our whole lives, John Travolta has, I know he's had ups and downs, but he's been around and he's been in some huge, massive, awesome movies.
I've always been a fan of that guy. You know, when you're a kid growing up, and we'll get into this a little bit more once we start doing the top 5, but, you know, growing up, man, it was Grease. It was Saturday Night Fever. You know, you'd watch that. Did you watch Welcome Back, Kotter? Or was that before you? I don't think I watched the originals, but the reruns were on, and I loved Welcome Back, Kotter. If it's on, and I don't come across it very often anymore, dude, I'll watch it, because was there ever anyone cooler than fucking Vinnie Barbarino?
I mean, he was up there. It was him and Fonzie, like, were the 2 coolest dudes. Him and Fonzie were like battling it out for the 2, badasses on TV. I think we watched Welcome Back, Kotter when it was on. I have Welcome Back, Kotter cards, okay, like baseball cards. Of course, maybe one or 2 packs. But yeah, I have those somewhere. Damn it, I should have dug them up for today. Dude, I don't know what the cards are.
Just on the front of your house, just put museum. Put museum across the front. You might get some tax write-offs at this point. Jesus Christ, you got everything.
The stuff is tucked away.
Just put museum up. Big old sign. Rod's Museum of Cool Shit. And just put it up there on the front door and charge admission, dude. I think you got something there. I really do.
I don't know how cool. I don't know how cool Welcome Back, Kotter cards are, but I do have some somewhere.
I'd check them out.
All right, let's talk a little bit Houston right out of the gate. So I don't give a shit about soccer. I'm not going to pretend that soccer is awesome. I am not going to try to be somebody that I'm not. But man, I know how cool it is that Houston is going to get some of these World Cup games played here in our backyard. So it's a win for North America. And it's weird. It's for the first time ever, 3 countries are going to be hosting the World Cup. So Mexico City, Houston, and then up into Canada, Vancouver. Vancouver is going to get games. I think Guadalajara is going to be hosting some games. Kansas City, Dallas, Atlanta. Let's see, Toronto, Boston, Philly, Miami, New York, New Jersey. So the fact that Houston got in on there, I mean, it's really, really big and it's awesome. So they said it's like hosting 6. If we get, I don't know how many games we're going to get. The number I heard thrown around was maybe 6. It's like hosting 6 Super Bowls, Jason.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like, you know how big soccer is, right? I mean, are you into it?
Dude, see, I always made jokes about it like everybody does, right? I didn't give a shit. I called it kickball. And boy, you call soccer kickball to somebody who's a soccer fan, you're going to be spitting out chiclets out of your mouth. You know what I mean?
Because your kid's been playing since he's little.
My kid's been playing. So I was like,
that doesn't always translate to being a fan of what's on television, though.
Man, dude, I got into it.
You can really separate those things.
Yeah, well, I got into it with my kid and it was cool. I learned the game a little bit. I still don't understand everything, but I got the gist of it all, right? Well, then my family, I have my in-laws are Hispanic. So the World Cup, that's the real deal. That's the Super Bowl of the rest of the world. Okay. We have the Super Bowl in the United States. The rest of the world Super Bowl is the World Cup. Okay. That's how big it is. So they got me into it. But I was a fair weather fan. I'm like, oh, that's cool. The red team's beating the blue team. That's fun. That's how I got into it. And then the next World Cup came and I was like, shit's on now. Okay. Now I dig it. Now I get it. And the most recent one, it literally got to the point where we're watching the World Cup. We're singing the songs and we're screaming at each other because, you always got to pick a team. That's what's great about it.
Who's everybody rooting for in your house?
It depends, man. Spain's a big one. When Spain plays, that's the mother-in-law. That's her deal. It's Spain,
okay,
dude. So Spain, so then I immediately pick like whoever they're playing against to be a dick, right?
Correct.
And then we throw in, there's wagers, who's going to cook dinner and all that stuff. So it becomes this event. Well, then the texting begins. Oh, did you see fucking, Ghana beat Japan? And we're like, oh, no way. Ghana beat Japan. No shit. Where the fuck is Ghana, right? But who cares? If you start getting into it and you start picking, it's like, it's in a way, it's like March Madness. You don't give a fuck about 90% of those teams. No. You don't know them. It's the same idea in a way.
The thing is, I get it. Like you got the family involved, but the U.S. is not always in it. So no. I love international. I love the Olympics. I love all of that. I've been to the Olympics. Okay. And I will watch like some boring ass Olympic events. If it's the US against anybody, I'm kind of into it. There's just something that's built in. There is some like just national pride. So the fact that we are hosting, that means we are invited to the tournament, even if we suck. Now, Alex told me this morning on the air that we are pretty good. We have a decent team.
We do.
But we will be in the tournament.
Because I remember qualified.
I remember a couple of years ago that we weren't even in the tournament. And I said, who gives a shit? I'm not watching this stuff. I don't care.
It wasn't, it was bad. And we actually qualified this year. So we qualified and we were going to be in anyway. So the key with the United States is, and you just already pointed it out, man, there's fair weather fans. You're going to be in a bar. You'll watch a game. You'll be like, oh, that guy kicked that guy's ass. What the fuck is a yellow card? You're going to have the conversations. If the United States comes out of the gate and wins one game in the early rounds, soccer becomes huge in this country. They win a second game, it blows the fuck up. You're buying jerseys, okay? And if they keep going, well, then forget it. We are all going to be huge soccer fans. If the USA gets knocked out early, it's still going to bring it along.
I'm on board. It's a month long?
Yeah, it takes about a month or so to go through the whole tournament, for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm completely on board with it. I think it's awesome. I mean, the fact that we're right here, I mean, you're not that far away. So I don't know what kind of matches are going to be here. I just know that when there are, the thing that drives me crazy about soccer is it seems like there's always some kind of a tournament going on. And I don't know what means what. There's friendlies and then like, well, Ireland's going to be here. They'll sell out Energy Stadium. Okay. They'll sell out where the Texans play. It's a huge, because it's the most international city in America. That's something that you can't take away from Houston. We have that. So Ireland, let's say a couple of years ago, came here and they played, I don't know, whoever. And they said, no, it's not Ireland's team. It's the third tier down team. And they still fucking sold out. It doesn't make sense to me. I understand the World Cup. That I can understand because the whole world is involved and everybody's watching it. But this nonsense that happens throughout the year, like there's a football season and there's a baseball season, and I get all of that. There's a hockey season, Stanley Cup going on right now. It seems like there's just always soccer, and I just don't know if it means anything. What the fuck is a friendly?
A friendly is a non-league game. It's two clubs or two teams.
Boring.
Play.
I play. Okay, it's band practice. Great. Let's get together and just kick the ball around.
It's kind of a scrimmage. You play against another team. You go all in, but it's just a tune-up. You're always trying to get better. You just work on different strategies and plays. It's like the season in a weird way. I think where it's big and there's bars, and there's probably bars all over Houston. I know there's a few bars in New Orleans that will be open all hours of the day.
Oh yeah.
And it could be 2 a.m. and you're watching fucking England play, whoever, and the bar's packed. There's fans that do that.
It's early in the morning. They'll get there at 5 and 6 a.m.
Yep.
It seems to be early here when those games are hitting. And yeah, there's a bunch of bars here. I mean, there's just so many people here. There's so many people from all over. So I get it. I didn't know when they announced it today, it was shortly after 4:00. It's like, holy shit, Houston. I knew that we weren't the only city, but I thought there was only like 3 or 4 cities. I didn't know that Seattle and San Francisco and Los Angeles, I didn't know everybody was getting in on this. It seems pretty spread out, but if we get 6 games here, if we get 4 games here, it's big, man. Each one of those games is a Super Bowl. So it's great for the city. I love anything that promotes this place. Houston has a massive identity crisis, so hopefully we can do it well. We've gotten high marks when we've hosted Super Bowls here. We've got everything that we need here. We got all the infrastructure, everything. I really do think that Houston needs to host an Olympics. Something to put this city on the map. Dallas has no problem with their identity. San Antonio has the Riverwalk. It's small, but it's still a big city. Austin has no problem, with their identity. Houston does. Cool. And we're fucking bigger than all the cities I just mentioned. Right, so we can't seem to find that thing. And it's awesome here. And I love my city. I just wish that everybody knew how great it was. But why would I care? I don't know. I just wish. What do you know about Houston? Houston, we have a problem. Is there some space shit going on there? What I don't know. What Traffic. What do you know about it? It's huge.
Not much at all. But I tell you what, if you go to a game, I'm telling you, get tickets, go to a game. In fact, get a bunch of tickets because I know that me and my son are going to want to come in and crash your place and go to a game.
I don't think it's going to be that easy just to go out and get tickets.
As soon as I go downstairs and I say, dude, World Cup's going to be in Houston, he's like, when are we going? He's going to be like, we got to go. We got to take Uncle Rod to the game. We got to get it done because I think when you go to a game, it doesn't matter who's playing. I'm telling you, if you can get a USA game, forget it, lights out. But if you go to a game and get caught up into the energy of it all and just the chaos in the stands and the singing the songs, whatever country it is, you get caught up in it. And it's so much energy. And if you watch, professional or whatever this is called, soccer, the best soccer you'll ever see, if you watch it in real time in front of your face, dude, it's way more physical than you ever see on TV. It's not a wimps game. These guys are in crazy shape. It really is badass. And I'm not even crazy soccer fan. I'm not trying to champion.
I just wish they scored a little more. I get it why everybody just completely fucking loses their mind when a goal happens because it rarely happens. So
it's exactly.
If your kid's into soccer, we've got the Houston Dynamo. They're good. The first 2 years they were in the league, they won the cup. They're pretty good. It's fun. I've been to the games. You're right. Seeing it live is great. We have pro soccer here in Houston. It's really good. We have a female pro team here, the Dash. It's good. It's fun. You're right. Being in the stadium and the excitement of it is awesome. But this is next level kind of stuff. So 16 North American venues. Guy, it's 2026. So we've got some time. We got some time. I didn't tell you that, did I?
It might be a minute. Wait. No. The World Cup. Oh, yeah. No, the World Cup is this fall, but then the next one will be here in 2026. That's what's going on. Yeah. Well, I'm still coming to your damn place, and we're going to crash at your place. So.
We got some time.
And I'm sure there's some guys who know a shit ton more about soccer listening. So please comment on our YouTube page at PlayPants or on our social media.
Tell us how dumb we are again.
Well, that's a constant. They just copy paste that fucking comment. No, it's, and I've had this discussion a lot of times. I remember like when I was in high school. We're going back to the 90s now, right? Early 90s, and we had a high school soccer team that nobody knows shit all about, man, right? But then there was this whole crush of all of a sudden there was this youth soccer movement in the late 90s and the 2000s, and all these kids were playing, my kids started playing years later. But I remember kids who were older now starting playing soccer. Soccer took off in the youth culture. It took off huge. I don't know if it blew by baseball yet or it's close or whatever the situation is, but for the youth, soccer's fucking everywhere. So it went on for a couple of generations now.
It's the first thing. You got to even look at London, okay? At 3 years old, she was out there, soccer shots, and it's the first thing you can do. A 3-year-old can't swing a bat.
No.
Even on T-ball, they can't do it. They're too young, but they can kick a ball, they're not doing anything. But soccer is the one sport that you can start like ridiculously early. I mean, it's funny, just see the kids running around every which way but loose,
falling down, swatting at bugs.
I'll give you that. It seems like that's the first thing. If you're going to get your kids started in doing any kind of sports, that seems to be the first one.
And it's weird because I thought, and this is just me thinking, I'm like, okay, well then how does this translate now down the road to, like, say 10 years ago, all this youth soccer stuff's been going on. These kids have been trained. They're all getting better. Holy shit. The United States should be pretty good and able to compete in the World Cup stage at this point, because we've had all this youth coming through. Look out, USA. Well, we've been shitting the bed for all these decades.
Well, the men have been shitting the bed. The women are awesome. The women are responsible for probably more youth soccer than the men.
At least putting soccer on the map in the States for sure and creating fans. Yeah. So I talked to a couple of guys that like know soccer, and I said, so what the fuck is going on? Why do we still suck in the world stage? We should be doing better. And they said, listen, man, the United States, yeah, we got really good teams. We got really good players. And yeah, we've got that American work ethic and the never die, that whole Rocky thing, right? But you got to realize these people in South America, they're born playing with like a rock in a parking lot, dude. They got so much more experience from the youth. We go and we practice on a nice field. We practice in sometimes air-conditioned, conditions. These fuckers are out there. They just do this all the fucking time, constantly. It's going to be hard for us to ever catch up to that skill level.
It does seem weird, though, that that's the one sport that we kind of suck at. I mean, look at what happens, with our basketball players, and look at what happens with, American football. There's nothing like American football anywhere else in the world. There's just nothing like it. Baseball is pretty competitive around the world.
Right.
It is. There are other leagues out there that they're probably close, but still not the level of what we have here. But soccer, it's just, I don't know. It seems like soccer players are content staying in their country. When you're like this amazing baseball player and you're in South America, it seems like the thing to do is come over to America.
Sure.
Because that's where you're going to get the money. Right, soccer players, the thing that I see is they're content staying in their home country. Even if it's a poor country, they're content being a superstar there, I guess. And I don't know.
There's a lot of the, big fish, little pond. You're still going to make your money. Plus, there's a lot more pride in that situation. And I don't want to say there's more pride than we have as Americans, but in those smaller countries, there's a lot of love for those countries. You'll see them draped in the flags, and it's wild. And people have always said, because I've kind of gone the other way with soccer, growing up through it now with my son and stuff. People are like, well, how do you fucking watch soccer? And I go, how do you watch baseball? Okay, baseball is a stand around sport. You're watching dudes stand around. But then people have explained to me, yeah, but baseball is like chess. There's strategy. There's shit going on. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a bunch of fucking grown-ups standing around swatting at bees the whole time. And it's boring as shit. And they're like, soccer's boring because they don't score. I go, yeah, but soccer, there is so much fucking strategy happening. And you just don't know what it is. But there's always movement. There's always collisions. There's always shit going on. So anyway, enough about fucking soccer. Nobody's listening anymore.
2026. We just spent 20 minutes on talking about something that's happening in 1,500 days.
That nobody gives a fuck about. That's what's great.
So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. But this morning I got an email, and one of our listeners here in Houston said, Rada, I'm like you. I love the Foo Fighters. F everybody that, because, people will kind of, because I'm gushing about them all the time. My favorite band and all of that. And he said, I'm like you. They're my favorite band. He said, I'm taking my kid. I got tickets. We're going to Wembley. He's taking his 5-year-old to Wembley Stadium, and it'll be the kid's first concert.
That's a lot. That's a lot, dude.
So that is the lineup that's going to feature Chris Chaney, who is the bass player from Jane's Addiction, who also was in Chevy Metal. Chevy Metal is going to open up both nights. I saw Chevy Metal with Taylor Hawkins, and they played here. It was awesome. Stuart Copeland, drummer from The Police, Liam Gallagher, Omar Hakim is an amazing drummer. He played for Sting back in the day. Just big names like Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson from Rush, Brian May. We talked about Queen. We were kind of predicting that.
Right.
Roger Taylor also. Wolfgang Van Halen on both dates. What's the connection there? He's playing the Wembley Stadium show and he's playing the one in LA. And like I said, Chevy Metal is going to open up. Then they announced who's going to be playing in Los Angeles. And I guess the big difference was kind of Miley Cyrus was added to that one. Looks like Joan Jett's doing both. Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson doing both. Brian May doing both. Alanis Morissette, we had talked about her. So our prediction was right on that. She's going to play the LA show. Gene Simmons and Nikki Sixx are on the LA show. I thought that was kind of interesting. Chad Smith, Luke Spiller from the Struts is not on the UK show, but he's going to be at our show here. Brad Wilk, Rage Against the Machine. They still aren't telling us what the format is, though.
Right.
Are these guys going to be sprinkled in on Foo Fighters songs? When Gene Simmons goes out there, they're going to jam a Kiss song, right? I mean, when Nikki Sixx goes out there to play bass, they're going to do a Crew song.
Yeah.
So the format of this is weird. Is there going to be any Foo Fighters songs? You know,
I think there's going to be a couple of Foo songs.
I think with guest drummers, I think where Stuart Copeland comes in, I don't think they do a Police song. I think Stuart Copeland comes out, plays the drums, and does a Foo Fighter song. Same thing with Omar Hakim. I don't know. I mean, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, they're going to do a Rush song. They're not going to use those guys on a Foo song.
But think about this. This will be the first time those guys could possibly play together and do a Rush song since Rush disbanded, years ago. So we talked about all these opportunities. Rod, I just want to point out one thing here. And you can't quit, okay? You just can't quit today. I will not let you quit. When I say what I'm about to say, you're going to want to fucking quit.
I'm going to quit the show right now. What are you going to say? I got a booger hanging out of my nose?
No, I'm going to the LA show. What? To quit? Did I just drop a monster 10?
Are you going to the LA show?
Yeah.
You got tickets?
Dude, I fucking signed up through the fan club thing, or my wife did. Got a pre-sale date code. I'm on a Zoom call today, right? At 11 a.m. I get in the queue. I get in the waiting room. Then I get in the queue and I'm like, oh, there's fucking 2,000 people ahead of me. There's no way I'm going to get. I just tried. You're in line. You're on the clock. Okay. You know how when you go to Ticketmaster, you got like 10 minutes? And I'm
you got to make a decision.
Holy fuck. So I'm just hitting, they got seats and they're nosebleeds. They're in the middle of nowhere. And I just went, click, buy, 4 tickets, bam, buy. Go. Fucking credit card doesn't work. Son of a bitch. I'm on a Zoom call with a guy.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm pulling out credit cards. The clock, it's like an episode of 24. I'm holding court on a Zoom call. I'm punching in credit card numbers and I'm like, you motherfucker, work. Because I've got this great moment. Click, hit the button, boom, sale. Email comes in, 4 tickets. I'm sitting up in the 200 section, up in the bleeders. I'm going to motherfucking Los Angeles, bro, in September. And I'm
Congrats, man.
In the room. Now, tickets go on sale tomorrow to the general public. I'm telling you, get your shit together, get in the queue, get on there early. I think you can get in there. And I don't know how many they did pre-sale, but I'm sitting in the nosebleeds. But you know what? I didn't even think about it. I just went click, buy. I'll figure out how to get there later. I got this.
Right. Dude, that's awesome, man. Congrats. I'm not going to quit.
Feet on the ground in LA. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be, and they're going to add more people. There's going to be fucking surprises. I can't imagine they're not going to do 2 hours. It's going to be like a 5-hour fucking thing. How can they just squeeze this into 2 hours?
I mean, the Foo Fighters can play 3 hours on their own. So this will be a 3-4 hour night for sure.
And there's going to be rock stars fucking everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the audience, those that aren't playing, I mean, of course, everyone's going to want to be in the house. I heard the same thing about the Chris Cornell tribute. I mean, just the place was absolutely packed.
It's going to be like, this is that one. And it's a shame. Let's not forget the reason it's happening totally fucking blows. But this is one of those once in a lifetimes. And I'm like, fuck it, man. I'll sell a kidney or something. I'm going. And sure as shit, dude, I got in. And
how much were tickets?
I paid $99 a piece.
Shit, that's not bad.
That's not bad. Well, I mean,
there's a
fees and shit. It adds up.
Yeah. But the thing that they did that was smart about this is there is a charity component.
Right.
So this is where, okay, who's getting paid, who's getting money. Nobody's getting paid. We're going to give all the money. The Hawkins family are going to pick charities, and the Foo Fighters are going to pick charities that they're into. I think they're letting the Hawkins family do the whole thing. Right. So whatever charities that, they knew Taylor was interested in and the family are interested in, all the money's going to go to that. So there you have it. Guess what? Nobody needs to get paid. The thing that I think I'm interested in, and that is badass that you're going, do you think they will open this up to like a stream? Will they put up a paywall, and will they put this thing online? Because they know, I mean, it's only the forum where you're going. It's 15,000 people. That's nobody. That's not anybody. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a big show, but we know that the Foo Fighters can just do that they can sell that out. I mean, what did we say? Isn't that's the place where we were laughing about My Chemical Romance is playing like 9 nights there. Yeah. So it's crazy that, number one, they're not playing a stadium, but do you think that they're going to open this up, even if they can open it up? I mean, there's a lot of music and licensing and all this shit. If they start doing other people's music, it gets to be messy. It really does get to be messy.
I hope they would, because I would watch it. I would totally pay that money. I talked to my wife. She's like, yeah, man, if they open up a paywall, shit, yeah, we'll fucking sit here, have people over, put it on the big screen and crank it up and cry.
When, I think it's as big as when Gord Downey passed away, and everybody, at least if you listen to this podcast, you know that the Tragically Hip's my favorite band, and the lead singer died of brain cancer, and he was a national treasure. I mean, he was the biggest rock star in Canada. He was bigger than everybody. And I mean, he's bigger than Rush. It's hard to explain that to people that, he was that big. Well, Rod, if he was that big, why don't I know him? Canada held him like they liked that he wasn't big here, that he was their own, bigger than Bryan Adams, bigger than everyone. And it was a national thing that it was broadcast, their final show in their hometown of Kingston, Ontario. And I watched it on my iPad, and I just sat there and I drank a couple of beers and I bawled my eyes out. And I imagine this might be the same situation.
Yeah. And it's weird because we had my son's a huge Foo Fighters fan. So we were going to go to Jazz Fest. They were supposed to play, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm actually taking off. Me and the family are going to go take a little vacation, and we had scheduled the vacation. It just so happens the Foo Fighters were playing, so we got tickets to that show. Well, it all got canceled. Obviously.
Where was that one at?
London,
Florida.
Yeah, no, London.
London.
We're gonna fucking take a trip and probably never make it there, but whatever. So we bought tickets. So it all came crashing down, as it does for everybody. Obviously, there's bigger fish to fry than my dumb want to go to a concert. So when this came up, I'm like, and I talked to the wife, I'm like, look, this is a once in a lifetime thing. As much as we love music, as much as we love the Foo Fighters, this is a great opportunity to kind of maybe put a bow on everything, if that's what's going to happen, and walk away. Great. She said, yeah, well, fuck it. Whatever it costs, we'll sell the dog or something. Who cares? We'll get tickets for this thing. And by the way, anyone wants a husky that's about 7 years old? No, I'm kidding. So we got the tickets and we're going. There's 3 of us.
Awesome.
Dude, there's 3 of us. I got
That's
4
amazing.
tickets. I got 4 tickets. There's 3 of us. I got 4 tickets.
3, 4. You have 4 tickets.
I have 4 tickets. There's 3.
You have 4 tickets, and you only have 3 of you going.
Correct. So there's going to be a bunch of discussions going on the next couple of weeks. I got a funny feeling.
Oh boy.
I mean, I got a podcast partner. I got relatives. I got in-laws. There's going to be some fucking shit going on in my house the next couple of weeks. It's going to be wild. So we're going to have to maybe do some straw drawing or do a lottery or some shit. So
where do I send that barbecue? What's your address again? All right. So the next thing I sent over to Jason early this morning this afternoon, and I had a couple of different top 5 ideas. And for some reason, he wasn't on the same page as me.
Wow. That's nothing new.
But I thought I had some ideas. I had David Bowie, because Ziggy Stardust 50 years, like right around this time that we're recording the podcast. And then there was who was the directors? Was it the Coen brothers? It was these guys that do all these movies. I thought that might have been a good one. But then I said, you know what? 44 years ago, 1978, Grease, starring John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, opened up in U.S. theaters. And I mean, I know how kids a while back were into the High School Musicals. And then there was that television show that people were losing their mind over, that the kids were singing in school. Grease was all of that when we were little kids. Glee. Yeah. Glee Club. Grease was all of that when we were little kids. There's a couple of funny things that we can mention about the movie, but it made me think about John Travolta. That movie is not in my top 5, but I thought maybe a John Travolta top 5. Are you prepared?
I am prepared. I got a top 5. I've always enjoyed that dude as an actor.
He's awesome.
He's cool as shit. He's had some bombs over the years. I think he just was writing checks, or he has.
Well, he had some highs and lows too, man. He was like, he couldn't get arrested. I mean, Pulp Fiction brought that guy back. I mean, he was doing those, Look Who's Talking movies, and that was it. He was doing nothing for a long time. So I like the whole story of the comeback kid. It might be one of the biggest comebacks. I guess you got to probably give that to Robert Downey Jr. I still think that's probably the biggest comeback ever. Right. It's hard to mess with Iron Man, but Travolta's right there as far as like an unbelievable comeback. So we're going to do a John Travolta top 5 coming up after the break.
After the break. Well, the Rod Ryan Show has reopened the Rod Ryan Show Cares online store for the summer, raising some money to purchase backpacks for local children in need. All you got to do, and check out these shirts. They're badass, man. Just go to the RodRyanShowCares.com and see all the new summer t-shirts. They got the koozies, the water bottle, and all new bandana. You got to get the thing to cover your peach. If you're like Rod and myself, the bandana, that is key for the summertime, man. And for the first time, a tote. There's a tote. Check it out. Safe, secure shopping. Their goal is to pass out 4,000 backpacks filled with age-appropriate school supplies in early August. So that means Rod's got to raise a hell of a lot of money, $80,000. So please help if you can. You can also donate cash right there on the store's front page. Thanks to BMP Brand Management Professionals for hosting the site and doing all of the printing, and their partners, Houston Children's Charity. Shop now. Get your t-shirt. And I got to be honest, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be doing it this weekend. The RodRyanShowCares.com. I got in on it last year. Shirts still looking great. High quality shirts. I got to be honest, dude, you do a great job with these shirts. And what you're doing is really, really freaking cool. So props to you and your team. Get a shirt. I'm telling you, get one of these shirts, man. They are very, very cool. So John Travolta, I can remember watching Grease on TV. It was on TV, and I don't think I ever saw it at the theater, because by the time I was old enough to watch it, it was on TV. They'd show it on like ABC on Sunday nights once in a while. Yeah. And same thing with like Saturday Night Fever. I remember watching it on TV all the time. And I remember my parents just losing their shit over those movies. Like, they were into it. They thought it was great. My mom's like, oh my God, he's so sexy, all that kind of shit, He was the biggest star in the world for a while there, man. He had hit after hit after hit. Don't forget Urban Cowboy. I mean, he had, and that, Houston, that's a huge movie here because Gillies was in Pasadena. So, I've told you, we've talked about that before. Everybody's got some crazy slutty aunt that used to go there, or that used to like bartend, or was one of the waitresses. Everyone here, like that's our age, has a crazy aunt or uncle that used to hang out there. Right. Most people have a pretty good story about that. Nobody our age. That was a long time ago. But yeah, if there's some 65, 70-year-olds running around with some pretty saucy Gilly stories. And that whole movie, that Urban Cowboy, that brought cowboy hats back. That brought the stiff Wrangler jeans back. That brought a lot of that cowboy culture back into the mainstream too, man. It blew up. So Rod, you're like, let's do a top 5 John Travolta movies. And at first I was like, there's 5. But then I started doing my research. I'm like, holy shit, there's 25, there's a lot. And there's going to be a lot I'm going to miss. I guarantee it. Because I forgot how much shit that guy was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did see Grease in the theaters, and that's one of the 2 movies that I remember. I think I told my Star Wars story a couple pods ago. My mom was not paying. It was already just let the 3 kids go, and that was it. Drink water and enjoy the movie.
That's fucking great.
Grease and the first Superman, meaning the Christopher Reeves. Those are the only 2 times I remember being in the theater with my mom and dad, and then us 3 kids. I remember going to see Grease. And it was, what was the cheapest, it was in the summer. I mean, it came out 44 years ago today. So it was a summer release. Mm-hmm. And then if you went in the afternoon, it was going to be cheaper. So it must have, my dad was always working, so it had to be on the weekend. So it had to be like a Sunday afternoon. And 2 times that I remember my entire life, my dad being in a movie theater with us. So that's kind of special. And that was my first boner. No doubt about it. That when Olivia Newton-John comes out at the end, right. I'm just like, Dad, something's happening in my pants. I don't know what's going on. Let's see, it's 78. So I'm 9 years old. Yeah. I'm 8 years old. I'm 8 years old. And I'm getting a boner, and I got shorts on, and it's weird. I can't move. I can't get up. That still, to me, I think she is the absolute sexiest thing ever. When she comes out at the end of that movie, she's wearing those red Candies shoes. Do you remember Candies?
Yeah, huge.
Girls need to help me with this. Whatever happened to those? Why don't they make Candies? They were a wooden bottom, ass jackers, and just like a red, open toe dealio. I was into it. Trust me. Then there's the stories of those. Then there's the stories of those pants being sewn on her. At the time, she was wearing those satin pants and the leather jacket, her hair all done up. Fuck, she was hot.
Totally hot.
Hottest thing I ever saw.
You know what ruined that movie for me? The fucking singing.
Well, you know what ruined that movie for me now? Trying to pass off a fucking 35-year-old as a high school student.
There's that.
Fucking Stockard Channing must have been pushing 40, when she was in that movie. Now, nobody was under 20 years old. And I think Stockard Channing may have been in her 30s, playing a high school student. How the hell did they get away with that back then?
Suspension of belief. You're like, yeah, it's all cool. Whatever. There's this old chick playing a high school kid. It good.
Looks ridiculous. No. It absolutely looks ridiculous right now. I remember not being bothered by it at all. I remember nobody even mentioning it to me that, wow, those people are really, really old in high school.
Yeah. No, didn't matter. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to talk about fucking Grease all night, but when I watched it, sure, it's cool. You get caught up in the songs and you're singing and dancing. It's cool. It's a great fucking movie. But I never kind of figured out, until I was older, I'm like, wait a minute, the ending, where are they going? Are they flying in a car? I never understood that ending. It's like they didn't know what to do with the ending. So let's just make it completely asinine and they take off. And then I've heard weird, theories on that. No, they were dead the whole time, or she was dead, or he was dead. And it's all a fantasy.
What?
Sequence.
I never heard that.
I've heard some weird but why do they fly away in the car at the end? I didn't get that.
Because of what you said. It was a stupid, silly movie. There was no way to end it. And it's just like, she's in the back seat waving goodbye. The car's fucking, where's the car going? I don't know. Elon Musk, the car's going out into space. I don't know. They predicted the future, though. I'll say that. That car, you got to admit, that car was badass. Grease Lightning was a killer car.
It was very, very cool. The whole drag racing thing. And the movie's got everything in it, man. It was cool. It's just a little too much singing and dancing for me. Yeah. But that's me. I'm not a musical guy. So
I'm assuming Grease is not in your John Travolta top 5.
We're going to have to find out in a minute. Okay. Let's not ruin the surprise, Rod. You want to go first? This is your idea. Let's go. Let's dive into
I will go first.
Let's get into it. I want to hear what you got.
I will go first. And number 5 is the movie Savages. It's an Oliver Stone flick, came out in 2012. Taylor Kitsch is in it. Selma Hayek is in it. Blake Lively's in it. And he plays like this creepy DEA guy. Savages, they had the scary masks, and it's kind of like a drug movie, and it's kind of like a cartel movie, and Benicio del Toro is in it. He's fucking ruthless. It's awesome. When they're meeting with John Travolta, they're meeting with him in a car, and he's in the back seat. And so he's not like the main guy in the movie. It's Taylor Kitsch, however you say his name, and the other guy. And they're the ones that are both banging Blake Lively. So it's this weird kind of, what do you call that? I don't know. Polyamorous thing going on, but it's a drug movie, The Scary Mask. But I love John Travolta. I think he's going to go down as one of the great bad guys of all time. I think he should play a bad guy in every movie, but he is a fucking threat because he can sing, he can dance, he can do comedies, he can play the bad guy, he can play the hero. He's awesome. I mean, he can do it all.
It's a good point. I didn't think of it that way, but you're right. He can do all those roles. There's
nothing he can't do. And he can do them good too. He can sing his ass off. He really can.
Yeah. So go bust out look on YouTube for some of his old 70s shit. Change your mind a little bit on that. But yeah, but it was cheese. He was just going for the money.
All right. Savages is a really good movie, and it looks cool. The way that Oliver Stone did the movie, it's got a cool look to it and everything. It's an awesome movie. Again, he's not the main guy, but he's in it a lot. In at number 4, Chili Palmer. Chili Palmer, Get Shorty, fucking awesome. I mean, that is probably John Travolta at his absolute coolest. I mean, look at all the people. He's not really a villain. He's not, I mean, he kind of is, but he's not really the hero. He's fucking just cool. His purpose of that movie is to be cool. And I know he is in a movie called Be Cool, but that and they're kind of intertwined. But Get Shorty is awesome. Yeah. I mean, he just is such a fucking cool character the whole time. You think maybe he's laying it on a little thick. The thing that makes John Travolta so good is he's so unbelievably believable in his characters. Sometimes you can catch actors acting. Yeah. And I don't get that with John Travolta. I really feel like I believe all the roles that he's in, even the shitty ones. I believe them. I do. Number 4 is Get Shorty. I mean, Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, great movie. In at number 3, this one's going to be the one that people are going to kind of giggle at. The Punisher. 2004, Thomas Jane. Listen, I know everybody's into superhero movies, and I don't know where this is on, like, I know it's way at the bottom. I'll put it. I know that. I know it's way at the bottom of superhero movies. I think it's good. I think it's really good. Number 1, I like Thomas Jane. Number 2, it goes back to him coming on the air with us and talking about the movie. But that is Travolta as a fucking amazing drug lord, the head of the family, the mafia. He is an awesome fucking bad guy.
Dude, I never saw the damn movie.
Dude, it's kind of, I'm telling you, there's some silly moments in it, but it's kind of like The Crow.
Okay.
It's kind of like The Crow. It's very dark. It's the cool car. I don't know how they blew it with that franchise, because you've got that skull and everybody knows the Punisher skull. I don't know how they fucked up that franchise. If they just went too early, it was before. I mean, it's 2004. So they were just kind of dabbling with some Batmans and doing things like that. Thomas Jane said that it was all set up to be a series. He was on board. He was going to do another one. He was in the best shape of his life. He said he was eating, because we talked to him about another movie afterwards. And I really like that guy. I think he's a great actor. He said he's eating the egg whites. He's doing everything. It's his understanding that he's coming back to play the Punisher. And then he said the script sucked, and just he didn't understand why they let that franchise go away.
God,
it just seems like that was another. It could have been Deadpool. It could have been Deadpool, not as goofy, because Ryan Reynolds really brought that character to life. But it could have been a dark. It could have been Batman. Batman, right. Deadpool could have been right in the middle there.
Weird. Yeah. No, I know nothing of the movie. I remember the skull and seen it everywhere. I'm like, oh, that looks cool as shit.
Dude, it's so fucking good. Right. I can't believe how good it is. Right. That's my number 3. My number 2 is Face Off. Him and Nick Cage. Awesome. So great. And it's one of Nick Cage's best movies. It's the number 2 movie for John Travolta. I mean, to have those two guys, they were so evenly matched in that movie. Yes. They were so believable. the way that they became each other, and both of those guys have very specific mannerisms, and they're really easy to pick out. But to see Cage do him and him do Cage, it's a masterpiece. I really do. I think it's a masterpiece.
And it's a great movie. I mean, there's so much adventure and shit going on.
Yeah. And it's a good movie on top of it.
It's been years since I've seen it, but I'm going to have to punch that one up again because that was a cool ass movie. And you're right. They nailed each other. That had to be weird. Can you imagine like on the pre-production going, okay, I'm going to do you and you're going to do me.
The similarities between those guys though. And, Nick Cage it's hard to be at the level of Nick Cage. I mean, when Nick Cage is good, he's really good, right. But Travolta is too. So those two guys, they are completely even. You can't tell me that, well, Nick Cage was a little bit better in that one than Travolta. Absolutely even. They were both amazing. And then number one, I think it's a layup. It's Pulp Fiction. It's the movie that brought him back. Vincent Vega, he's got a little dancing in there. He's not in the best shape of his life, and it works. And his hair, and he's a heroin addict, and everything about it works. Quentin Tarantino he pulled him out of obscurity because he just wasn't doing anything. As far as I know, that was right off of those Look Who's Talking movies. And I don't know, man. It's just he became a guy that Hollywood kind of forgot and threw in a scrap heap. And then Pulp Fiction brought him back.
Well, it's like, he was on a tear, but then all of a sudden, he did Saturday Night Fever. And then what did he do? He did like a follow-up. There's a part 2 to that, like Staying Alive or
Staying Alive. And
it was fucking terrible. And
it's so bad. It's so bad. It's borderline disco-y and stuff. Or after disco, but it was
bad.
Terrible.
Fucking bad.
He's made a ton of shitty movies, but he throws it out there. When I say he's made a ton of movies, John Travolta is one of my mom's favorite actors of all time. When I say he's made shitty movies, my mom has seen them all, okay, and thinks they're all great just because he's in it. You have no idea, that whole straight to DVD era.
Right.
He's got 30 of those.
Ooh.
He has at least 30 of those. But, my mom's gotten me to watch a couple of them, and he's good. I mean, in a shitty movie, no budget, zero cast, John Travolta can still act his ass off.
Right. He loves what he does, obviously. And, you got to get paid. I was just thinking this, Rod. Had your mom maybe not spent a few bucks on all those shitty DVDs, you guys could have got more ice cream back in the day. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Dude, if that damn song's on, they're out. They're out. If the song's on, they're out, dude.
Fuck, have I not talked about that this week so much about the goddamn ice cream song? Holy shit. Wait, you mean if it was on, they were out? I mean, I've had people just blown away at that story.
Son of a bitch. There comes that truck. God damn, the music's on. He's out again.
What a dick that driver is. What the fuck? All right. So
that guy never has ice cream on my street.
I mean, it's his job to have ice cream. He's fucking it up.
Yeah. Vincent Vega, Pulp Fiction. Awesome. Just awesome.
Character though. What just a great, weird, fucked up, bizarre character that Tarantino wrote and then Travolta brings to life. I mean, it's just brilliant. Absolutely.
I'm going to get killed here in Houston for not. I'm going to put Urban Cowboy as my honorable mention. I'll put that as my bubbling under.
It's your list.
Urban Cowboy at 6, but I will get trashed for not having Urban Cowboy in the top 5. All right, Jason Ginty, top 5 John Travolta movies. The more I'm talking about him, the more I'm like excited about this list.
Yeah, I really want to go watch The Punisher and I got to see Face Off again. Okay, so for sure, I got some Travolta shit to do this weekend. It's cool. You know what? I'm going to do a little bubbling under. You brought up Welcome Back, Kotter. And I'm starting to have all those memories come back of that show being just fucking cool, man. It was just, and look, I'm looking at it through a lot younger eyes. So my memory may be blown out when I go watch it again. It might suck.
Like Kotter, the teacher, like Gabe Kaplan, there was that whole, he always had that joke about, did I ever tell you about my uncle? Like that was like one of the, I guess you call that a throwback. He would do that at every show. And then all the characters had different things. Freddie Boom Boom Washington and Horshack. And I loved them all. Juan Epstein.
And think about the diversity in that classroom. in that time period, 1978-ish, dude, that show. I mean, I don't want to say it's groundbreaking, but it was taking some chances. Anyway, Cotter's got to be in the world. I know it's not a movie. I get it. Number 5, Get Shorty. Get Shorty. How do I not put that on my list? Totally awesome.
Chili Palmer. It's a great name too.
Again, I mean, haven't seen it in a while. I'm gonna have to do the old Travolta Film Festival this weekend for Father's Day. I put at number 4, I put Urban Cowboy. Now, I'm looking at it again through very distant memory of the movie.
It's good.
I don't like all the fucking cowboy shit. Sorry, Houston, but I don't. It's not my thing. Although I've been to a real rodeo before, and that was awesome. But the hat, the boots, and the stiff jeans, that ain't in my wheelhouse, man. I can't do it. But I remember the movie being really, really fucked up and good.
Travolta kind of plays a dumbass in it, though. I mean, he really does kind of play like a fucking lug nut, I mean, he's dumb in the movie. He's dumb, But it's good, though. I tell you what, It's a pretty good soundtrack, too. Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Great soundtrack. And I like the soundtrack better than what you just did. But anyway,
Shut up.
Moving on. Number 3, I had Face Off because reasons you just talked about. Completely incredible movie. I'm going to have to watch that one again. I had at number 2, I threw in not Grease. I threw in Saturday Night Fever. Dude.
Watch the hair. Yo, Ma, watch the hair.
He creates this unbelievably fucking goofy dude who is goofy at home, but he's cool as fuck. And the way he had to play that at home, he's a piece of shit. And he sounds like a dumbass. But when he goes out, he's the coolest fucker going. Like to see the dynamic changing back and forth, the dancing and what it meant to culture and what it did with disco. And, looking back now, I kind of like a lot of disco songs now. It's cool again. The Bee Gees, the soundtrack. Holy shit.
Soundtrack's amazing.
I mean, the kid on the bridge scene and all the other shit that went on. I mean, God, that movie is messed up. And it got you, I can't imagine being like, say you were 18, 19, and when that movie came out and you're watching it going, fuck, I'm going to New York. That looks awesome. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that club culture that came out into the drugs and the blow and all that shit. I mean, if you were 17, 18, 19 years old, you're like, I got to go to New York. That looks amazing.
But both of those movies that you did, I mean, Urban Cowboy and Saturday Night Fever, they were things that changed the country, like country clubs, country bars, country Western bars, whatever. And the Mechanical Bull, that shit popped up all over the place, man.
Became huge.
Because of that movie. And same thing with disco. It's like, even in Buffalo, there was a disco.
Go to the disco. You had the big fucking collars and the big platform. I mean, it changed everything. Everyone thought they were cool and they could do all the dance moves, and it was weird. And number 1, Pulp Fiction. Come on, Pulp Fiction. Awesome, incredible. When there's so many fucked up scenes in that movie, man. The scene where he's shoving the needle in the chick's chest.
Uma Thurman.
Yeah, dude.
It's funny.
Funny scene. And it's brutal.
It's funny. How could somebody dying of a drug overdose and getting that adrenaline shot? It's funny. I mean, obviously there's great acting. Eric Stoltz is awesome, right?
Great.
Eric Stoltz is amazing. But it's Quentin's writing and he had the right people in it, so John Travolta, so much of that I'm sure was written to a T. I think that Quentin Tarantino is that meticulous that everything was written out, but Travolta pulled it off because he's so fucking cool.
And so good. And, I can't believe we're talking about how great John Travolta is as an actor, but you know what? I never thought of him as a good actor. I just always looked at him as John Travolta being good in a movie. But now that you bring it up, I'm like, that motherfucker's really good actually. Because he is John Travolta, but he does dive into those roles. Didn't he do, and I didn't see it, I don't know if it was a TV series. Did he do like Gotti or something?
He did. And I want to say that he even played Clinton in a movie. Gotti might have been made for TV. The Clinton might have been a movie.
Right.
Some of the things that I had bubbling under, he was on Ladder 49. He played a firefighter. That was good.
Yes, that was good. Holy shit. I forgot about that.
The General's Daughter. Holy shit, that's a good movie. It's heavy. It's heavy though. God damn. But it's good. The General's Daughter is a really, really good one. Don't sleep on Savages because it's not that old. I say it's not that old. I had to go look it up. It's 2012. So it's pretty old. But it's got a cool look to it though, man. It's a very interesting looking movie. They make these guys, Benicio del Toro. There's a guy that I don't think I've seen a million of his movies, but every time I've seen him, man, he's so intense.
He's great.
He's super intense in this, and he just beats a guy till his eyeballs hanging out.
Oh, cool. God, that's cool.
Savages is a good one, dude. Savages is a fucking awesome movie. And I think people forget that he was in it because it's not his vehicle, but he's in it though. And he's great in it just because, and I like the movie so much. So I said, okay, I'm going to put that in my top 5. Be Cool was another good one. It kind of gets paired with Get Shorty. But the General's Daughter is a fucking good movie.
See,
I've got that Cromwell. Ready? What in the blue fuck is going on in here? The guy from the Green Mile.
Walking the Mile. Yeah. Green Mile.
He was the warden on Green Mile. Is that Cromwell? Something Cromwell? A really big, tall Ichabod Crane looking dude.
Guy. Yeah.
He's in that. But fucking great actor. I mean, John Travolta. I see why my mom, it's one of her all-time favorites.
It's weird. I never thought of it that way. But now that we're talking about it, holy shit. Now, this weekend, I had some plans done. Sitting around watching Travolta movies all weekend.
What are you doing? I mean, Father's Day is on Sunday. So, I mean, you've been a father for a long time.
Jesus, it seems like a long time. Yeah.
Is it just one of those kind of days that comes and goes? We talk about it on the air. A lot of shine. There's a lot of time taken for Mother's Day, hardest job in the world. And, in Father's Day, dudes are just a little cooler about it. If nothing really exciting happens, we're good with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like that fathers it seems like it's a less important day. And not just because I am a father, I've always been that way. Just to make sure that, hey, if we're going to do all this stuff about Mother's Day, make sure that we're still talking Father's Day too and doing our countdown and all that good stuff. So I was telling people, if you're lucky enough to have your dad and maybe you don't live in the same city, mail is slow now, man. It's like, you're not getting it there on Sunday. You're not getting it there to him.
Too late.
So hopefully that shit went out in the mail already. But yeah, Dad's Day never gets the shine. And then when it does get a little bit of shine, they get lumped in with fucking dumb graduates, dads and grads. They don't attach anything to Mother's Day. No, not the queen.
Not your mom.
Dads and grads. Yeah. Dads, grads, everything else. Anything that rhymes with it. Fads, put it in there. Great. It's their time.
Yeah. You know what? My wife will go, hey, what do you do for Father's Day? I'm like, nah, nothing. I got nothing. I don't care, man. Well, let me ask you this. What do you do for Mother's Day? We try to go out to dinner. We put dinner or like a brunch or a lunch with the family. We, the in-laws and stuff, the mom, my wife's mother and stuff and father-in-law, all that stuff. So we'll do that. And we'll do like a dinner on Saturday. That way we kind of bring it all together. So that's kind of a family get together for the dads and involved. And that's kind of cool. Like my wife's going to ask me 20 times between now and Sunday, we want to do Sunday. We want to do Father's Day. I'm like, nothing, man. I don't want to do a damn thing. I don't want to do anything. Just want to chill out, So, nothing. Nothing. We might go out to lunch or something. That's it. What about you?
We might go out to eat, maybe, I don't know. I mean, my kid's 4. She's not really understanding what all that is, except if they talk about it. She just got into this summer camp. So, there might be some kind of a, paper plate with a green hand print on it for Father's Day. There might be something with popsicle sticks, which, you know what? That stuff is awesome. And if I get nothing but an orange handprint on a paper plate for Father's Day, my whole day will be made. Okay.
It's the best.
That stuff is awesome. Because it's just different when it's your kid. You go to other people's houses and you see shit hanging on the fridge and you don't think anything of it. When it's your kid, it's different. And, and I haven't been doing it for as long as some, and some people have 3-4 kids. It's like, all right, we can't hang up everything that comes back from school. You just can't do it after a while. But I've told the story. I think I've told the story maybe even last year on this podcast. for Father's Day, I remember we had an assignment, or we took a note home, probably a month out. And it said, hey, Father's Day is coming up. Could you save all the stamps that come in from the letters that are coming into the house? Now, everybody got a lot more mail back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really young. So this is maybe second grade. So as stamps are coming in, my mom's cutting them out and she's putting them in like a Ziploc baggie for me. Did I tell this story?
I think you did. Yeah. But keep going. It's cool.
So I go into class and everybody's got their little bag of stamps. You know, they've already been used and stuff. Then the teacher helps us out and she cuts out green burlap and cuts out a tie in the shape of a tie and then puts a shoestring around it, arts and crafts time. And then we take all of the stamps and we glue them onto the burlap tie. And that's what everybody gave their dads for Father's Day, right? So I gave it to my dad for Father's Day. And that was back when we were going to church and my dad wore the tie to church. So think about this, you know, he's dressed up, you know, normally. I mean, people dressed up a little bit more back then.
Yep.
You know, you didn't see any shorts and T-shirts at church back then. You know, everybody still, my dad wore a sport coat and that sort of thing. But he wore this burlap tie with whatever he was wearing. And I remember it. I mean, I absolutely remember it. It wasn't a huge deal. It's a great story to tell now. And I still get choked up telling a story, but it didn't mean that much to me back then. You're just a dopey, you know, in second grade. But he did that. And then later on in life, knowing that story, we would always get my dad like a world's greatest dad T-shirt, you know, those types of things. And he wore the shit out of that stuff. I mean, the goofier, the better. We almost did it as a bit of a goof, you know, trucker hats, world's best dad, mugs. He would use those. He loved that shit. He was into it.
Yep.
He gained weight in this like shirt from like 10 years ago, that world's greatest dad. He's still squeezing into it. I'm like, dude, I'll get you a new one. Okay. He would wear that shit all the time. Yeah. He was into it. Yeah.
See,
so it's always that's always my Father's Day story that I tell every year.
But that's great because, you know, we talked about this and I've shown the gifts on this podcast. You know, the short shorts, you know, comes from, I think, a gag gift from my son.
Not a gift.
And it's a gift that keeps on giving to everyone. That was like, we're gonna get dad these really messed up short shorts because he runs. So I do the same thing now. They get me something messed up, I will wear it at the most inappropriate times every chance I get. And I will proudly do it. And I love it. They think they're being funny. We'll get dad these funny looking shorts. Guess what, bitch? I'm wearing them in front of you and your buddies when they come over. And I'm going to embarrass the shit out of you. And that's what's great. And that's the game you're playing, man. That's the game. And that's what makes it so great. That's the fun stuff, man. It's
think great. About like my dad in church. He didn't have to explain to one person. Everyone got it. You know, if you saw my dad, he's going up for communion, whatever he's doing, all you had to do was look at him. Nobody's even going to question it. They're like, you know what that is. Okay. One of those dopey kids gave that to that guy and he's wearing it, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, my kid we talked about this before on the podcast. My kid made pinch pots. And the kids just got like clay and they pinch it together and then they fry it in the oven or whatever. And then you're supposed to be able to put liquid in it. So my kid brings it home. He's like, hey, happy Father's Day, Dad. It's a pinch pot. I go, what the hell's a pinch pot? He goes, it's a pinch pot. I go, well, thanks for your definition. That's great. He goes, you can put stuff in it. So I poured some shit in it. It leaked and pissed all over the place. And I go, dude, great job. Looks awesome. It's the old artwork on the refrigerator, dude. I've got 2 pinch pots that leak all over the place. And I got them in my cupboard behind my plates. They're still there. That's
awesome.
Roll them out.
No. We used to make, they make pinch. We talked about this. I remember this discussion because they make pinch pots. What did we do when we were kids? You made ashtrays. You made ashtrays for your parents.
And they look
that was a very, very, you had the little dimple in there so that they could set their cigarette on it or set their stogie on it. You kids made ashtrays for their parents because everybody's parents smoked.
Yeah.
Everybody smoked when we were kids. Everybody did.
Grandparents, like, hey,
Yes.
grandpa needs a little lung dart. Okay, look at the ashtray I made for you. Happy Father's Day,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a kid making that now? Hey, listen, we're running out of time. We better do some final thoughts. I'm looking at the countdown clock here.
I got to fix this. We got a fucking timer on our own podcast and we can't figure out why it's happening. So who gives a shit? Any final thoughts, Rod?
For only the second time in my life, I am up to date with the rest of the world. I am up to date on Stranger Things. It only happened one other time in my life. I was way behind. Everybody was watching Game of Thrones for years before I got involved. And I finally watched all of the Game of Thrones. My wife and I just kind of binged it. And we caught up. And in live time, we watched the last 3 episodes with the rest of the world. And that was kind of a cool, I felt like I was in with everybody. I am caught up and I am ready for July 1st when part 2 of season 4, and I'll have to live watch it with everybody that weekend. And I can't wait. I feel like one of the cool kids. I'm in on Stranger Things, bro.
That's awesome. See, I got to get caught up on that, man. My wife.
It's good. If it wasn't based in the 80s, if it was just sci-fi, I wouldn't be into it, but I'm into it with the music, the Kate Bush thing. We're playing it on the radio. Forget about it. What do you got? Final thoughts.
I got to see Top Gun Maverick over the weekend. Finally.
Damn.
Holy fuck. I'm not going to spoil anything, but man, I loved it. I loved it. It was cool. See it in a theater, see it in a good theater. It's fucking good.
Did you see it in was it a special theater? Was there like 10 times Dolby and your chair was fucking around and you got dumped on your head and shit like that?
No. I wish I would have.
Watching it inverted.
But because what happens was Jurassic Park was released, so they put that in the Dolby theater. So Top Gun got bounced. So I saw it on a regular. I'm going to go back and see it again at the theater because I really, really like. They did everything just right. It felt like to me. I thought the nostalgia pieces that worked great. The storyline was cool. In the shit in the airplanes, I want to go be a pilot again now.
They can improve upon the dogfight scenes. Because, man, those were awesome back in the day.
I'm not saying a fucking word, dude. I ain't rooting for anybody, but yes, they can.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for checking this podcast out. We are under a time crunch for some reason right here. Tick, 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 tick. I'm seeing the time. We're counting down. All right, 60 seconds. Playpants, at Playpants, all the social media. Download, subscribe, smash the subscribe button if you want to watch this. We do have the YouTube channel and we got everything at Playpants Pod. So make sure you get out there, follow all the socials, give us your list, tell us your top 5 John Travolta songs. And hopefully we rattled a cage a little bit. You start thinking about some of these great movies that he's made. That's it, right?
That's it, man. I'm done. Let's call it for this week. Sorry, it's a day late. My fault, kind of. So, but hey, we got one out at least. We need to think about it this way, Rod. At least we get one out this week. So that's cool.
All right.
We're doing okay.
All right. Thanks, guys, for checking this out, man. Later.
Let's go. It's time. Put on Playpants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at Playpants Pod.